Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. I have got the gorgeous tool girl Holly in the workshop again. Yes! Right, on this particular video, and there has been a trend, we're busy reassembling this bike, getting it ready for an epic bike trip across New Zealand, covering almost 4,000 kilometres of gravel roads, beaches, forests, you name it. I'm going places nobody has ever been on a DR200 before. In this video, we're actually going to start taking the bike apart again.
Yep.
We are, because I decided that we really haven't done anything with the engine. We've done, you know, lots of other stuff. I'm not going to list it all because there's tons of stuff we've done. But the engine itself is as it came off the farm, and it had done 13,000 kilometres of farm use. That's a lot of work for a little bike like this. And it may well be mistreated quite a bit. So things like the clutch especially will have had a very, very hard time. Some riders on farms don't believe in changing gear. They don't, no. They could be in third gear and they want to go really slow. Rather than go down to first, just ride the clutch, why don't you? I've seen it many times and it just burns the clutch out. So I don't know the condition of the clutch on this bike. It seems to ride okay. I remember I did ride it once, just around the garden, but it wasn't under any kind of real load, so it wasn't a true test. So anyway, I decided to order some new parts, and we've got friction plates, and there's actually one friction plate which is different to all the rest. So I'll give you the part number now. This is the first one that goes on the basket, and that is the part number. And later on in the video you'll see what the difference is, and it's very, very important that you fit it correctly. And the other clutch plates, they all look to be the same part number, the friction, sorry, and that's the part number there, look. New steelies as well, because they're probably warped if it's being cooked. And I think all the steelies are the same, sorry, steel plates are all the same part number, and that's the part number there. So if you need to order some, you can. You can get aftermarket clutch plates and stuff as well, but I decided when I priced it all up, there really wasn't much difference actually between the genuine parts and the aftermarket ones. So why not buy genuine? For the sake of another 15, 20 bucks,
Yeah.
You know you're getting quality stuff. Aftermarket stuff, yes, some of it's good, but to be honest, some of it's absolutely shit as well. Now, I do have some clutch springs. There's 5 in here, but I can't give you the part number because it hasn't got it on the bag. They're just, I don't know where these came from, to be honest. So I did order genuines, but this doesn't look like a genuine bag to me. So maybe they had to get aftermarket ones for those. I don't really know. And last but not least, we need a clutch cover gasket. Here we are, brand new, genuine. And there's the part number again for that. So we've got a lot to do, but we have to do it in 2 stages. And the reason for that is the friction plates need to be soaked in oil overnight before you fit them. You must not fit them dry. They're designed to run in oil, and if they're not soaked in oil, when you try and ride the bike and they're still, you know, still basically dry, they're going to wear very, very quickly. That's not good because, you know, you're reducing the life of the clutch big time. So in this video, we're going to strip it all down, get the old clutch plates out. We're going to soak the new clutch plates, and then we're going to pause, do another video on something else, and then tomorrow finish this video off. Now for you, the viewer, it'll seem seamless. It'll just happen. But, you know, be aware that the clutch plates will have been soaking for about 12 hours, which is fine. Okay, Holly, I've talked way too much, as I always do. Now is time for you to do some work on the tools.
Yep.
We're going to have to, looking at the bike, we're going to have to remove the right-hand foot peg again, which takes the right-hand side stand away. We've got to remove the foot pedal brake, or the brake pedal, off the bike because that's in the way of getting the clutch cover off. We need to drain the oil and maybe some other stuff. Oh yeah, there's some oil lines. It's got an oil cooler on it, so we've got some oil lines to disconnect as well. So we've got a few bits and pieces to do, and well, I suppose realistically we should really just crack on with the video, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
You ready?
Let's get into it.
Okay, roll the intro. Use.
You don't paint something without wiping it.
Honestly. Right, Holly. One oil drain tray. Now, obviously, we can't warm the bike up, so it's going to take a bit longer for the oil to drain out. So we'll do that first.
Yep.
And it's that bolt there, look.
Cool.
So it's 17. If you can crack that off and then undo it, basically, and we'll get the oil out. I'll do the noise. Ready? Jeez, it's going to slip off. It's going to round off. Hang on. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give it a go. Hang on. Oh, I'll give you a bigger. I'll give you a bigger tool. Hang on. Bigger tool. Are always good. So it's 17, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go up in the world. Okay, going bigger. There you go. Obviously, somebody has massively over tightened that. You know, farm servicing and all that. How's that going to work? Is that going to work? Don't let it slip. Ooh. God. Oh man, who tightened that up? Jeez, that's ridiculous. All right, do you want me to crack it off for you?
Yeah.
That is just, you steady the bike. I'm going to get rid of that because it's all going to go a bit pear-shaped otherwise.
I don't have enough leverage.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
It's not going to fall over on you. Right, there you go. That's yours. It's cracked off. You can use the normal ratchet now if you want. That was ridiculously tight. I think it should be like, well, we'll find out later on, but it should be. In fact, we'll find out in the servicing video, doing the service in the engine. But I reckon it was probably about 20 Newton meters. It should be, and that was probably about 50. Poor little bolt. There you go. Yeah, it's loose enough. Cool. Right, prepare yourself. Oil is coming.
Let's see how good.
It's probably quite thick and gloopy now, look. Hey! Nice torchy. Holy moly, that's pretty black, isn't it?
Yeah.
That oil's had a hard life in that little engine. Jeez. Okay, let's leave that to drain and we'll start taking some bits off. Right, Holly, we're going to need to take the right-hand foot peg off and the side stand because it's all on these two bolts here. Now, if I remember rightly, they're pretty tight. So, if you use that big power bar again,
Cool.
you'll jump that down so it's not going to slip on it. There you go.
Yeah.
Go on, you're right, I've got it. Just don't slip. Too tight?
I'll just bring it down a bit.
Yeah, get some weight on it. Jeez. You know we put thread lock on them as well. Oh man.
The thread lock might have been a bit overkill.
I think probably, because it's been on there for a long time now.
Yeah.
All right, let me go and get the big impact wrench. That's something you can definitely
Yeah.
get them out with.
Here we go.
Look at that. It's so much easier with power tools, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Right, good job. I'll hold this. Get the second one out. Beautiful. Fantastic. Stick him on there. Right, next job is to get this brake pedal out of the way, and then we can get the kickstart off, and then we'll do the brake line, the oil lines, and then we're about there. But this is a ball ache because it's got a little split pin right at the back. So see if you can get that split pin out. Okay, you've got pliers and side cutters and all sorts. Obviously, we'll put a new one in when we come to do it. I'll have to lend you a hair tie, won't I?
Oh, that's tough.
It is, isn't it? It's like, who put that there? Again, I mean, I might just replace it with a nylock nut and not have a split pin there for the trip, because in case I've got to take it off for any reason. Because it will be an absolute pain. It's all about trying to make the bike easy to maintain when you're out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, don't forget, when we first started doing this project, I didn't plan the trip. That came along a bit later on, you see, so things I have to think about change. I wonder if we put that on when the swing arm was out.
Probably.
And they would do that in the factory as well. Yeah, they don't really think of mechanics these days, do they?
No.
You burn so much time on these little fiddly jobs. It's a real pain.
A screwdriver.
Screwdriver? We can do that. I actually can see a lot better looking at the camera than probably you can see. You can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think you're doing a great job because it's a real fiddly one getting that one out. Don't worry, I'll edit this up so you'll look like a real pro. You're doing a really good job actually. You got one of them straight, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm not left-handed, so this is a bit...
Yeah, that makes it even more difficult, doesn't it?
You know what? Let's just do this.
Are you going to give it a go?
Yeah.
Where's your screwdriver gone? I might be able to just ease that second. If you can hold the top with your pliers, I might be able to bend this one round. Oh, nearly. Right, you're about straight now on both of them, so it should come out if I give you a little push. Go on. Nearly there. You got it? You got it? Looks like it.
Pretty much.
Oh, team effort that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez, okay, I think there is a nut behind there as well. I think it's a 12. So I just want to grab a 12 spanner and then we'll see if it out. Oh, I'd use the ring end if you can. So you want to be going up with the spanner, that's it. If I remember rightly, it wasn't, once you cracked it off, it will come off with your fingers. And it won't be over tight, I don't think. Do you want me to hold the lever?
Yeah.
Okay, the lever is held.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Not too much pain?
No.
I always get told off in the comments for using the back of my, the palm of my hand for tapping spanners. Shouldn't do that. Damage the nerves in your hand.
Yeah, well, it's either that or a hammer.
Yeah, it's going to get hit with something, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to be fair, I've done it for what? 35 years, I suppose, since I was like 16. So, hands still sort of work.
Sort of.
I get no complaints. Oh dear. It's lucky the wife doesn't listen to these videos, isn't it? That oil really smells quite burnt, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You okay with that now? I'll go back onto camera duty. You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, what a legend. Okay, now there is also a spring lurking behind there. So where's your pliers? See if we can just flick that spring out. There we go. And then that plate should come off with a washer. There we are. Right, so you should now, hopefully, that whole lever should just pull out.
Maybe undo that spring.
Oh yeah, brake spring, brake light spring. Right, let's see if we can get that out without breaking the spring. Yes, there we go. Cool. Good job. Ooh, nice. Okay, I'll stick him down there. We don't want to take him off the rod. There's no need for that. It can just sit like that for now. We can reassemble it. Okay, that's the hardest bit done. Kickstart next. So looks like another 12, I think. So you can give that a go if you want. You've already got a 12mm spanner.
Cool.
I'll take over camera duty. Off you pop. Let's see how you get on with that one. You'll be fine. You're a pro.
This one was it?
Yeah, should be. Should be a 12. I think. Oh no, this one. Here, look.
That one.
On the kickstart, yeah. They're usually quite tight though. Upwards. Good job. See, to all the mechanics out there, you don't need hammers and things on spanners. Things are not normally that tight.
So you break spanners as well, and they're not covered under warranty.
That's right. Speak to Brandon at Tang. He'll tell you that's not warranty.
Easier to get ACC coverage.
Fix my hand. Oh yeah, what were you doing? I was smacking a hammer with it for half an hour. A spanner with it for half an hour. Okay, yeah. Now, before you pull it off, is there a marking? Can you see a little dot to mark where the kickstart lines up with somewhere on there? Because it's pretty important that we get it back on the right place.
Not really.
No? Okay. If you grab a rag and one of those paint pens, which is top right drawer of the snap-on toolbox, we can put a little line on it just to make our own reference point.
Try the white one this time.
Yeah, because the red one we've killed, the yellow one we've killed it, haven't we?
Yeah.
It needs to go clean. Yeah, so if you give that a bit of a wipe, because it's going to be covered in grease. What do you say? You don't paint anything without cleaning it first?
Yes, that's true.
Is that what you said?
It's all in the prep.
It's all in the prep. That's right. There you go. Just make a reference between the two components. Doesn't matter where it is. Just gives us an indication later on, so we get it right. Because there's nothing worse than getting things wrong, is there?
No.
No, having to redo it again. Okay, that should now pull off. Probably a two-hand. Oh, there you go. Job done. Cool. Okay, on the bench somewhere. So what's left? We really are getting down to the clutch cover now, which is good. We're going to leave the oil filter in for now because that's going to get changed anyway when we actually service the bike, which is tomorrow. But we've got these two oil lines to take off. Now, please, whatever you do, don't lose these sealing rings. Here, look.
Yep.
These washers, because I really don't have any more.
Yep.
And we are going to have to reuse them because of that. Okay, so 17 is it? Or a 14, do you think?
14.
14. All right, spanner time. Dum 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 dum. What a pro. Oh, sorry. Right. Do you want the magic hammer because you've got two to tap off?
See how tight they are.
Yeah, because it has still got some magic left in it.
There we
That's
go.
one. Cool. And it's probably going to dribble oil, so we might do well to just pull the panel across a bit. Because they're for the oil cooler.
Is it going the right way? It is, eh?
It is. That was very Kiwi. It is. Aye.
Yeah, that one might need a hammer.
Okay, hammer time. Where's magic hammer? Hang on, let's go and find magic hammer. There he is. It's looking pretty tired now. Now, the last time I used magic hammer, I broke something very, very important to me. So good luck. Excellent. So at this point in time, we've got 4 washers that are not currently in the oil. How many do you think are going to stay out of the oil?
All of them if I do it right.
Cool. That's what I like to hear, because, you know, that's going to be 4 better than me. This is where the cameraman gets in the way. Go away, leave me alone. Let me do my job. Excellent stuff. So that's one off already, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. And we can't get the pipes the wrong way around because one's a lot longer than the other. So that's good. It's a fail safe, so we don't need to label them up. Now, are both the banjo bolts the same? That's the question. So just check before you put that one down.
Yes, they are.
They are, yeah. Cool. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one we use where. Even better. Right, if we just see if we can tuck these forward out of the way. There we go. So they're going to be out of the way doing the clutch job now. And they're going to dribble oil on Thor. Sorry, Magic Hammer. Not Thor. Right, stick him over there. Straight into shot. Right. Okay, so all we have to do now is there's a ring of bolts all the way around that cover. They're all little 8mm. So I think impact wrench. I've got to be careful because sometimes one of these also is long, but these all look like nuts. So I think we're okay there. We can just ignore that. The cover should come off even with that cap still in place, I think. We'll have to be careful. There might also be a hidden bolt behind the filter. So Suzuki might make us have to take the cover and the filter out to get to that bolt.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. We're going to find out though. Right, so you want impact wrench. I would just go, because it's quite tight getting into these places, so we're going to use 1/4 inch drive on the little impact with 1/4 inch drive, so we need an adapter as well. Right, Holly, if you want to work your way around that and get them all pulled out, we could make note of which one goes where, but that's quite difficult without a piece of cardboard and a bit of time, so we'll just use an educated guess later on. We'll see how many are different lengths as we do it. I wonder if this has ever been taken apart before. There you go, pop them in there. So they've both got washers on, or just one with a washer on it? Just one with a washer on so far. In front of the camera, Andy. What the hell?
That one's longer.
Yeah, and this one was the one with the washer, wasn't it? So we'll put a little line on there to remind us.
Shorter again.
Yeah, it's quite a mixture. So we'll have to just be careful when we put them back in that we've got equal length showing before we tighten them up. Now, what I am noticing here is, look, what's that stuff on the filter?
Silicon.
It is. What's that tell us?
That tells us they've used silicon for a gasket.
So somebody's been in already, and they couldn't be bothered to fit a new gasket.
Unless it didn't come with a gasket.
We should do. We've got a brand new one on the bench. So it's already had work, and they've skipped the proper gasket. So it's actually quite a good job that we're going in there, because it might actually start to leak oil on the trip.
I think.
Is that all of them, or is there one of the? That's quite a big gap, isn't it? Quite a big gap between. I reckon we're going to take that cover off. I reckon there's a bolt in there.
Yeah.
There's too big a gap on the cover. You know, you should really have a bolt around here somewhere. So I bet it's inside there. So I mean, we've got to take that off anyway because we're doing the oil change tomorrow. So it makes no difference. Right, prepare yourself for. There we go. Now, one thing to take note is, because we're doing an oil change on it and putting a new filter in tomorrow, we've got to take note of the orientation of the filter, because, believe it or not, I know it sounds really, really, really crazy, but some techs have been known to put filters in the wrong way around. And you see that? See on the end there, it's got a blank on it. That's a one-way valve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're actually there is actually no rubber O-ring at the back. There's no seal at the back. Normally you find a seal down there on most bikes. This one doesn't have it. So it'd be interesting to see if the new filter has got a seal. In fact, the box that the filter we've got doesn't look anywhere near as big as that. Jeez. Okay. Right. Well, I think, yes, that one is a stud. So that stud is off the engine case and it comes all the way through this cover. So we did well to undo that. We had to undo that nut. These two are just studs that are tapped into the cover.
Yeah.
Okay, so we now need the magic hammer again. You can be the first person to use the new magic hammer. Look at that. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so milk our end again. Because the other one's pretty knackered, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, let's see if I can get under here somewhere and just ease it off. Oh, there we go. Got all that oil. It's just stuck at the back, innit? I'll come around this side of it now. See if I can just get somewhere under. Ah, there we are. Look, there's a little lug there that they've given us. There we go. If you grab hold of it, it's coming your way. There you go. How's that? You got it?
Yep.
Cool. If you just flick it over, make sure there's nothing. Oh, there is a gasket, but they've just reused the old one. And look at the amount of sealant they put on it. That's, if any of that had broken off, it could have got stuck in the oil pump, you know, or on the gauze, the pickup. Could have caused a major problem. Holy moly. And both dowels are in place, aren't they? Yep. 1, 2. Excellent. Good job, Holly. That was excellent stuff. Now, the prize is here. This is what we need. It looks to me like it's got a very mixture of clutch plates in there. Okay, let's have a little look around. Let's do a Millennium Falcon flyby. Right, we're going in. We just want to record what the current state is so I can have a look at it tonight before we put the whole thing back together again tomorrow after we've soaked the clutch plates. Let's have a little look around, make sure we don't spot any problems, because like I say, it's got a long, long way to go as this bike. What's the primary like? It actually looks pretty clean. But looking at these clutch plates, you notice that some plates have got this little notch in one of the, just in one of these little tangs. We'll see them on the close-up when we pull it apart. I'm a little bit dubious as to whether that's been put together correctly. So if we look around the basket, nearly all of these have got a semicircle cut out going round. That one hasn't, that one hasn't, and all these have, and those two haven't. Now they're very, very important, and we'll see why when we read the manual properly. This is going to be good. Where the hell's Holly gone? She was in the workshop. What are you doing over there? Come back. Come over here. We're filming. God damn. Right. So, very, very important that we align the new friction plates correctly. It tells us in the manual. We're going to have a little look in a minute. And from what I see, on initial inspection, there appears to be a problem. The person that worked on that bike previously has already made one mistake. They've used the old gasket and they've just put RTV silicon sealant everywhere, haven't they, to try and, in the hope that it doesn't leak. Yeah, that's wrong. Use a new gasket, people. But more to the point, remember that we have a single friction plate, which is a different part number. That's the first friction plate that goes onto the clutch basket when you're rebuilding it. Let's go and read the manual and find out why it's so important to get that orientated correctly. Here we go. Now, I wasn't going to cover this at this stage in the video. I was going to cover it during the rebuild, but I think it's important to highlight a problem that I've potentially spotted. It says here, caution. Now that's not danger, I know, but it's caution, which means it's important. When installing the clutch drive plate number 1, align the mark A on the drive plate with clutch housing as shown in the illustration. Remember on the basket we had those two prongs basically which were flat. They had a square end, they didn't have the semicircle on, and we have an indent in the plate. So if we take the plate out of the bag without bending it, because that's really important, otherwise you'll get clutch drag. If you look at the plate, you will notice that these little prongs around here, that one has the semicircle. There, look. And on the opposite side, it also has a semicircle. Well, those two have to line up with those square-edged parts of the basket. Let's go and see if that's the case on the clutch that's currently fitted. Now, what we've got here is a close-up of the clutch basket and the plates. So I'm just going to rotate the engine around, and I'm going to bring that round so that we've got the two plates, sorry, the two prongs facing us as per the diagram, and there should be at that location there the indent, the little semicircle on the clutch plate itself. This bit, well, I know my eyesight's crap, but there isn't one there. Okay, it should be on that plate in that location there. Now, I'm not saying the plate hasn't got it, it's just in the wrong place. So let's have a little look around. We're just going to rotate it all the way around and see if we can find or see any indents on that plate. There he is. There's one, look. And believe it or not, these two prongs have the semicircles. So whoever assembled this clutch took no attention whatsoever to aligning that particular friction plate correctly. Not impressed at all. We are very close. Okay, one impact wrench. Now, it's really important that we undo these bolts in like a star pattern, like a wheel nut.
Yeah.
On a wheel. So, and we also need to bring them out each. We need to bring this cover off basically parallel. We don't want it to twist off to one side, because that causes some serious problems to the springs and to the mechanism basically. It's bad practice. So you can start wherever you want, but then just do opposites, you know?
Cool.
And just do maybe a couple of turns each and then go around again.
Yeah.
That's a different bolt. Somebody's lost a bolt. That's not ideal. You can take him all the way out with this, and there's a spring behind it, and then you can just pass them to me if you want once you've got them all out. It's a bit worrying that it's got an odd bolt. I imagine that bolt doesn't weigh the same as the other bolts. So what do you think is going to happen when that thing's flying around at full tilt?
It's not going to be evenly
Not balanced?
no.
Which is going to cause what? When something's not balanced, what happens? What do you get? Say if one of your wheels in the car at the front's not balanced.
Vibrations.
Yeah, it's going to cause vibration, and vibration causes wear, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, the guy putting the wrong bolt in, this is the third mistake we've found so far, isn't it, on this bike for the clutch?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I do as my job, is to pull things apart and see if mistakes have been made during the assembly. Excellent, cheers. Good job. Okay, now we should be able to get that cover off. So there, if you want to just pull that off, and if you put your fingers on the furthest to the back plate, the whole lot will come out together with that outer cover. Yeah, just on the plates, not the basket itself. So where the plates stick through, put your fingernail behind there. There you go. That's it. And pull those through. Keep trying to get the whole thing together. Flip it flat. That's it. And then we'll head to the bench. Hey, Holly.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
It's nearly beer o'clock.
Almost.
It's about 5 minutes away. Okay, so just looking at these friction plates, first thing that jumps out is they're not completely worn out, but they are quite black. So they've taken a little bit of heat. If we look at the steel plates, they're not overly blued. We've had a bit of heat in them, but not a lot. Are they warped? I don't care. We're fitting new ones anyway. But the fact is, this inner plate should be a different plate to the rest of them. And I'm curious to see if the guys actually fitted the different plate on the inner plate, if you know what I mean. Or has he fitted basically the same plates all the way through? The difference is the material. We'll see that clearly on the new ones, but also the depth of the friction. These look to be very slightly shallower, don't they?
Yeah.
In the height. This one looks a little bit deeper. Difficult to tell the friction material because they're all black now, full of oil. But it looks like he did. If you just pass me that one over there, Holly, the new one, this is what it should look like when it's new. And the thickness does appear to be this. It sort of matches that one, doesn't it? The depth of the, oh, we're off camera. The depth of the actual friction plate, you know, inner diameter to outer diameter looks
like cork.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Is it quite soft? It is actually quite soft, but it will harden up with use. And this one's like concrete. You know, it's really, really hard. I don't want to score that with my thumbnail because it'll damage it. Okay, so let's just very quickly fire through the plates. We've done those two. Another steely. See if we can spot any obvious problems. Not that it really matters. It's just interesting to find out. There is actually quite a bit of meat left on these. I might just chuck them in the spares box in case I do fry the clutch and I've got something that at least get me going again. But it's all right because I've got a network of 40 motorcycle shops across New Zealand that are going to help me on this trip. So I'm well supported. Even though it's the wrong brand, they can fix them. Hey, they've got some numbers on these. A13283. Interesting. Another steely. Yeah, there's a little bit going on around here. Look, you can see there's some bluing, some heat's got into it just there. Look. So there's the odd place where it's got hot, but it's not too bad. Certainly, still in a workable condition. It would still, you know, drive the bike. Just keep going. Nearly there. Thanks, Holly. Yeah, somebody's got it hot at some point. You can see again there. Look. There's bluing on the steel plate. Wow. Okay. Not the end of the world, and it finishes with a steel plate. Need to remember that. And that one's actually been pretty good, Nick. Cool. All right. It's time. Oh, geez, look at that. Don't lose the washer. That could be a rookie mistake, couldn't it? That's dropping the oil when you take it out. Wow. We'll leave that alone, but we need to remember that it has to go back in. Holy moly. Made in Japan. That word there is quality. I like Japanese stuff. It is good. They really care about what they make.
Yeah. You
know, a lot of pride goes into their vehicles and the design. Holly, did you spot any other differences between the innermost friction plates, that special one, and the normal ones?
Only that the friction material goes further out towards each of the tabs.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Because that's sort of an example of all the rest of them, and this is the special one. So there you go. You can really compare that yourself. We'll hold that nice and still on the camera. In order so we don't get these confused during the oil soaking process, I've just chucked a zip tie just loosely around that special friction plate. Right, Holly, we need to debag, not the steelies, they can stay dry, we don't need to soak those, but the rest of the friction plates, if you can debag those for us, and then we're going to put them in the tray, pour some oil on, and then it's beer o'clock.
Awesome.
Woohoo! Can't wait! It's going to be great.
So ready.
Very, very ready, to be honest, and we're going to have to do a trip and get a box, because we don't have enough for the night.
Yeah.
last one in. I'll do one. I'll help you because I feel like I'm doing nothing here. So we've had a pretty good day so far. We've done quite a bit. It's nice to get into a more technical job than just fitting mud guards and number plates and things. But they were all jobs that needed to be done, so we had to do them, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's all part of doing the project. Okay, so if you grab all of those and head over to the soaking tray,
cool.
We'll get them dipped in some oil and left overnight. Here we go. All right, Holly, if you want to lay them all out in there, you know, around because we want to try and keep the depth of oil to a minimum, so we're not wasting oil. Oh, look at that! Good job. Then we'll just lay one on top, I suppose, and get them all in. This is why I pay the big bucks, isn't it? That's fantastic. Right, you've got a jug of oil. If you pour enough in to at least more than cover all of them, and if you end up using the whole jug, it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. And it's really important that you do this to friction plates on motorcycles that have wet clutches a good 12 hours before you fit the plates. Otherwise, the clutch plates will wear out a lot quicker. This is standard practice for motorcycle maintenance. And you'd be surprised, you know, it doesn't always happen in workshops. Mm. You know, a bike comes in, it gets diagnosed a faulty clutch, the customer's in a rush, can you chuck a new clutch in it? Yeah, sure, mate, no problem at all. And the plates go in dry. And that's bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's really bad. It almost looks like you're doing a cooking channel.
It does.
Cool. Now we're looking, everything's covered now, isn't it? Yeah. There's no point in putting that little bit back in the pot. You know, chances are we'll actually just use that oil as the fresh engine oil when we do the oil change. I mean, it's not been contaminated, has it? It's going to be friends with the friction plates anyway tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there's no need to waste it. Cool. Right. Well, we'll leave that overnight.
Awesome.
Where's the KY? Is that? Oh, we're running. Hang on. Right. So Holly very, very professionally is now soaking the friction plates. It's time for us to, well, stop for the day, isn't it? And we have a well-deserved number of drinks to consume over the next couple of hours whilst Mrs. Mechanic cooks tea for us, which is going to be really nice.
Cool.
So we're going to carry on with this video tomorrow, but for you guys, it's going to seem like it's only a few seconds. Bye. We're back, aren't we?
We are.
Many, many hours have passed. Much alcohol has been consumed. And we've even done an incredibly long live stream, haven't we, as well?
Yeah.
And, Holly, before we get into it, your shirt seems to have changed colour.
Yeah, it has. Got a new outfit.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Holy moly. Give us a turn. It's black. You had white leggings on yesterday and white boots and a blue shirt, and now it's all black.
All black.
You've got some different stuff on your leggings, look. All the different, a torque wrench, pullers, verniers, another torque wrench. Oh man, we've got all sorts of gear on there. And a new updated logo as well. How do they feel?
Feels really good.
Yeah, you like those?
It's awesome.
Black's your colour, isn't it?
It is.
Good job. Right, without getting too distracted, we really should crack on because we're running, well, what time is it? It's 11:30 now. We've got to be away from here by 6. And we've still got a shit ton to do, haven't we?
Yeah.
Right, back to work.
Cool.
Okay, crew, we're going to rattle on. Now, the clutch plates, like I said before, they've been soaking overnight, so they're ready to go. The friction plates. We now have this mess to tidy up, don't we?
Yeah. So,
Holly, we'll get some blue roll on the bench. I'll get your blade. We'll pull out the dowels, and then you can make a start cleaning all that up.
Cool. Because
you know how to remove gaskets. You've done plenty of that stuff, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Well, that's over to you. I'm going to be camera person. Hoo-hoo! Right, Holly, quickly run through all the bits and pieces you're going to use to get this nasty gasket off on the RTV.
Okay, so we're going to start with some gasket stripper. Spray that all around the gasket. Hopefully it'll help it come off a lot easier. And then we're going to try and peel it off with scraper and razor blade. And once I've gotten all the extra chunky bits off, I'm going to go over it with, what do we call this one? Service lube and some Scotch-Brite to smooth down the surface and give it a wipe clean.
Just the final clean up, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, you crack on. I'll do the filming. Is it the kind of spray you need to use in a really well ventilated area? Does it smell quite bad, or is it all right?
I can't smell it at all yet.
Oh, that's pretty good. Because some sprays are horrendous, aren't they? You know,
Yeah.
they just knock you out if you haven't got a good airflow.
That's right. How long you need to wait?
I'm going to get you some pliers so we can pull those dowels out as well, because that'll make it easier, won't it?
Yeah.
There we go. It's probably quite old, that gasket. It's probably the original gasket that the bike was born with, to be fair.
Probably.
Yeah. One thing I haven't done is check to make sure that the new gasket's the right one. I have faith in my supplier. Hopefully it is, otherwise we've got a bit of a problem, haven't we?
Yeah.
Must not lose these dowels. Are they the same? They are. They normally are. It's not often you have two people doing one gasket, is it, to be fair? You're doing very well not to tell me off for moving it around. And it's very important that you don't dig into the aluminium surface, because you could actually create a leak. You know, we're trying to keep it as flat as we can, can't we? So you've got to take a bit of time doing it.
Yeah. I'm not convinced this gasket was doing much.
Well, I couldn't get the forge stuff, so we had to make do.
I don't think it's so clear as well.
No, well, I wonder if the RTV has created a impermeable seal on top of the gasket. You know, so it's no longer a paper gasket; it's a coated gasket.
I don't think so.
No,
Because even when you're scraping off the surface layer of the gasket, it's
still not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's just a special gasket.
Oh, that's coming off a lot easier now.
With the 10-minute wait.
Yeah, you gotta soak it.
Well, that's good to know.
I think you have to let it sink in.
I'm just going to try and get it. I can get underneath the gasket. I can get the whole thing off like a big chunk, which is so I'm going to keep doing that. But the bits I can't, it'll soak in. I guarantee Jared's going to give me a can of gasket removal spray next. You wait. He watches all the videos, you know.
All of them.
All of them. Not all the live streams, but he watches all the videos. I think he's just waiting for me to start his buggy, his go-kart. Sorry, mate. Too busy. We'll get round to it next year. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We are getting there now. So I'm coming from this side.
Yeah, here we go.
You alright? Cut yourself?
No.
Is the glove disintegrating?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, with the spray?
Yeah, it's got a hole in it now.
Shit. They don't tell you that on the can, do they?
No.
Is my skin going to start falling off? I'll get you another glove.
Made my hand feel funny.
Did it?
Yeah.
Started to sting?
No, it's not stinging, it's just like I can feel some kind of solvent on it. It's warming up.
Do you want to go wash your hand?
Brake cleaner.
No! Not brake, water and soap. Well, it starts hurting you, let me know. I think you're probably ready for your Scotch Brite, are you?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay. Making a mess now, aren't we? So if you want to finish that one off, and then you can, I'll get you some brake cleaner so you can flush the whole thing out and get all the bits out and stuff. There you go. I'm going to take a look at that casing. I'll leave you to it. I'm going to steal the camera for a bit.
Cool.
Right, so what's the other gasket surface like? We're going to get away with just a quick wipe down, or is it going to be a ball ache? Oh, I think we're all right there. I'll just give it a quick wipe round with a rag, and I think we're good to go on there. Excellent. Look at that, it's like a new one.
Yeah.
Fucking good. That Scotch Brite's a great idea, isn't it? Because it doesn't dig into the aluminium, it just gets the debris off.
Yeah.
That's excellent work with that. You got much more to do? Nearly all the way around now.
Pretty much done.
Right, just a bit of a flush out to get rid of all the crap.
Yeah.
And then we can leave that to dry while we're fitting the clutch plates, can't we?
Yeah.
Don't worry about being too conservative with the brake cleaner. We have a great supply of it. It's more. Jeez, nearly got the camera. Right, so while you're doing that, finishing that off, I'm going to just get these friction plates taken out so they can be dripping off, get rid of the excess.
Yep.
Holy moly, that's a lot of brake cleaner.
Yeah.
Oh, no cigarettes in the bin for a while. I thought brake cleaner evaporated away, but this one is
Not when you got that much of it.
yeah, it took a while. Oh, like a tsunami of brake cleaner everywhere.
Yeah.
Right, so you reckon we're done?
Yep. Blowing the silicone out.
Yeah, bloody silicone. Honestly, who needs that? It looks really clean now. That was a good job to do that. You good?
I think so.
So a quick scan it.
Seal.
Excellent. Right. Assembly time.
Cool.
Good job. Well, that was a task and a half, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we've edited it right down. Didn't want you watching us cleaning off gasket for the next half an hour or so. Top tip, gasket stripper, read the instructions before you use it. Ideally, we should have sprayed that gasket last night, you know, when we put the friction plates in the oil as well. Could have sprayed it last night, left it overnight, and chances are it would have just dropped off first thing this morning in the video, but we didn't. So live and learn. But it seemed, once it had maybe 15 minutes to work, the old CRC gasket stripper, code 5021, not a sponsor of the channel, by the way, just happens to be on the shelf, seemed to work pretty well.
Yep.
It wasn't phenomenal, but it was pretty good. Quite happy with that. Yeah, well done, CRC. Okay, right, now what we need to do is fit the friction and steel plates to the bike, to the basket. So Holly, if you just whiz around there and grab me that, everything's on that tissue there, look. And we can present that now, and then we can get on and go for it. Yeah, you can just pass it over here if you want. Sorry. Cool, so we've got all the steelies unpacked, and there's 6 of those. Not cheap, by the way. And we've got the springs and the part number for these steelies. So I've taken out the bag already. That's the part number for the steel plates, and they're all the same. So you need 6 of those. Like I said before, the springs, I have no idea where these came from. Doesn't look like they're genuine, and there's no part number. So we've just got new springs. They might be heavy duty ones that they've sourced me. We'll find out. Okay, assembly time.
Cool.
Let's do this, and then we can have some lunch. Let's crack on. Right, Holly, ready when you are. Right, now, this is a fun bit. These are all now obviously pre-oiled. And remember yesterday we discovered that they'd fitted this one incorrectly.
Yep.
So that little notch there should go between that one and that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so you want to offer that one up and slide it down.
So there or here?
Yeah, no, so that one and that one have got the flats on the end, so between those two. Okay. That's it. So you slide that down for us and push it all the way. And then we'll give you a steel plate. That's next.
Doesn't matter which.
No, it doesn't matter which round. There's no markings on it to say it's got to go in a particular way. Right, standard friction plate is next. So it doesn't matter where that goes. That can just go anywhere.
Even the notches?
Yeah, it doesn't mention anything about the notches on the standard ones. Cool, and another steel plate. And another friction plate. And another steel plate. There's always one, isn't there? It's like, come on, it does fit. Go on. There you go. Another friction one. And when you fit a new clutch like this, same as in a car, to be fair, you should drive quite lightly and not aggressively for the first sort of 100 k's, because the heat that the engine creates helps to harden up the friction plate material. You know, so it'll last a lot longer. If you can burn out a brand new clutch really quickly if you don't, you know, if you go full noise.
Yep.
There you go, last one of those. And your last steel plate, there you go.
So when we pulled it apart,
Yep.
the one different friction plate was on the outer side, wasn't it? Not on the inside.
No, I think it was on the inner. The old manual. Very good question and a good point to raise. So we've got the schematic here. That's the basket there, look. Okay, down here. And then we've got the group of plates. And if you follow the line, that will be the first plate to go into the basket. 6.
Yep.
Yeah. So if we just go back, hang on, there was another page. Here we look. There we go. when just doing a quick drive plate number 1, align the mark A. So 1, yeah, 1 is the one that goes first in there, look. See on the picture there.
I'm sure when we took it apart it was the other way around though.
I'll have to review the footage. That's the benefit of video, I suppose. But you could be right, but that's where it should be. We've done it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Holly, we were just busy looking at a clutch thingy-majig there. So yeah, we've done it right now. The assembly that we've done is as per the manual, but hey, God knows what the previous guy's done. He's just thrown it together on a Friday afternoon, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so next job is inside here, we've got that washer.
Yep.
So we don't want to lose that, and that washer runs on the bearing. So if you want to offer that in, again, it can go in any one of 5 positions. So that just drops over those 5 little turrets. There we go. Now it might fall out because it's only held in by sort of the suction of the oil. And then in the tray, we've got the 5 springs with bolts just to the right hand side of the tray. And now I know one of the bolts isn't standard. At this point in time, I don't have a replacement, but it's an easy job later on to change it.
Yeah.
So if you want to just wind those in until the spring starts to compress, and then we go through the same procedure again of slowly tightening them up. Actually, one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to put some thread lock on these bolts. I know I didn't have them before. I'm not sure if the manual tells us to or not. I'll just have a quick read through. No, there's no mention of Suzuki wanting us to put thread lock on those, but I think the weakest thread lock is a good idea because if one of those bolts comes loose, it's going to cause a lot of damage inside the engine, and you know they're easy to undo with normal thread lock. Okay, so there we are. A bit of Forge K120, just a tiny blob. That's all we need, and then you can wind that in with the spring to finger tight. You know, till it's just starting to nip the spring up, and then we'll do the next one. There we go. Oh, we've got new springs to fit, haven't we? God damn. Okay, you'll have to pull that other one out. Sorry, I forgot. New springs. So I'll feed you the new springs at the same time. That'll work. Getting carried away here, weren't we? I think your question threw me off. That's what it was. It's all your fault. No, I'm just useless, basically. I wonder if these springs are a little bit harder because it's only these 5 springs that are squashing those plates together to transmit drive.
Yeah.
Just like the diaphragm spring on your car clutch, you know. That's all it is. So if these get hot one day and they lose some of their strength, then there won't be as much clamping force and it's more likely it's going to slip.
Yeah.
And it's downhill all the way after that. Like you want a spring, don't you? There you go. Cool, yeah. Right, I'm ready for the next one when you are. That's enough. As long as it just takes up the slack, because we want to make sure that thing's going to go down evenly, that outer plate. Did that have thread lock on it, that one?
Yep.
Did, cool. Right, Holly. Number 3, ready?
Yep.
Right, bit of thread lock. Dum dum dum. There's your new spring. There you go. This was the first time you've ever done a motorcycle clutch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, this particular arrangement is a very standard setup for a motorcycle. So if you, like your GM125, pull it apart, it's probably the exact same clutch in the GM125, to be fair.
Yeah.
But the way that they operate is the same.
Cool.
Right, so a bit of that. There you go. And you want a new spring this time, don't you? You're going to get one old spring in there. I'll be left over with one. And then we need to go and find a torque setting for these bolts, don't we?
Yeah.
And again, that's another issue, is they often get over torqued. People knit them up too tight. And those poor little aluminium turrets with the thread in that they go in, it's so easy to break. It's unreal. Right, last bit of thread lock. There you go, new spring. Perfect. I'm just checking the service manual. This is the genuine Suzuki Service Manual. And I'm looking for a torque setting for the bolts that retain the clutch springs. And they're really, reading down here, they don't say anything but to tighten them up. Down here, look, it says, no, tighten the clutch spring set bolts in a manner indicated. So that's in the order. So we got to a star pattern again, like a wheel nut. Tighten them by degrees, so little by little, to try and attain a uniform tightness, and to keep that plate, parallel basically to the friction plates. We don't want it to go on at an angle, as that's bad, and it also puts pressure on the little turrets that have the threads for those bolts. But this is clutch cover bolts, 10 Newton meters, but there's no mention actually of those 5 clutch spring bolts. So I've Googled it, and Google says 7 Newton meters. So for an M5 bolt, which is what they are. So I'm going to do them at 7 Newton meters. And of course, we've got the thread lock on there, just in case. Right, Holly, if you want it, because they're such small bolts, you should be able to just wind them in by hand. So we're doing it in star pattern, as you did before.
Yep.
And if you just do 2 or 3 turns each, and then go to the next, do the next one, and then 2 or 3 turns, next one, and just keep working your way around until they're all down, snug, and then we'll torque them to 7 Newton meters. It feels a bit painful doing it like this, but this is what you really should do. Most people don't, but you should. That odd bolt is grinding my bones. How can you lose a bolt? It's going to be on your bench somewhere, isn't it? You just dropped it, or maybe it's gone down a grate somewhere. Yeah, it's a bit harsh. I'll get a new one. Doing a great job. That's it. You constantly think, where do I go next? Where was I last? It's easy to forget when you have to keep going round and round, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the way we're doing it is probably a little bit excessive, but this is what the manufacturer actually wants you to do. But in reality, a lot of people will just wind them down all the way, or maybe halfway in a star pattern, and then go the full way in a star pattern. That's enough. But we're doing it best practice, which is by far the most expensive way of doing it. And we already know that the guy that did this job last time didn't even understand the words best practice. Cool, yeah. I reckon we're nearly there, don't you?
Yeah.
Did that just nip down then?
No, I don't think
Not
so.
quite. I might speed this up double speed.
There we go.
Yep. Super job. Okay. Right, now, I think the bike might be in gear, so this probably won't rotate, but if it does, we'll just put a rag between the 2 primary gears, the drive and the driven, that drives the clutch basket.
Cool.
So again, if you just do it in the same order, as regards a star pattern,
Yep.
and they won't be over tight, so you can start wherever you want, doesn't matter. And 7 isn't a lot. That's it, isn't it? Whoa, 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 whoa.
It's not clicking.
Yeah, so where do you, up there next, that's it.
Doesn't make a noise.
It's quite delicate. It'll just move, it'll just go like it's not like a big torque wrench. Wait for it. Hang on, there you go. God, don't want to break the clutch basket, they're expensive. That's it. Cool. So this is the penultimate one, isn't it, I think? That's it. Perfect. Right, so I'll just whiz round and double check, because the last thing we want is these things falling off. Job done. Right, well done. Okay, next job is we have to back off this little adjuster screw here, which is what basically is the push rod that actuates the clutch. It basically pushes the cover to release the plates, because they're all trapped now, they're all tight, so the drive's on as if your foot's off the clutch, and then when we pull the clutch lever in, it pushes against those springs and compresses the springs and gives the clutch plates clearance.
Yep.
You know, only a little bit of clearance though. Right, Holly, we now need to know what adjustment to make to that push rod. Let's take a look in the manual.
Cool.
Now, according to Mr. Suzuki, we need to loosen the lock nut 1 and turn in the release screw 2, so clockwise, until we feel a resistance. From that position, turn out the release screw 2, quarter of a turn, and tighten the lock nut. And then we're good to go. Excellent. Right, Holly, Mr. Suzuki's been really nice to us and put a 12mm square shank on the main component there. Look, so you can put a 12mm spanner on there and then use your ring spanner, 10mm ring spanner on the actual lock nut. Give that a go. It shouldn't be too tight. Oh, there you go. Right, that's cool. So actually you can keep your spanners in place. So if I just let you reset and put them back on, and then I can make the adjustment to the adjuster screw. So it says in the manual, this is the benefit of 4 hands, not 2, to turn it all the way in until you feel a resistance. So I'm feeling resistance just there. And then it says to turn it quarter of a turn back, which is that much. There you go. If you want to nip that lock nut back up again. That'll just hold the adjuster screw in place. I'm just going to maintain position of that. Cool. That's it. Happy with that?
Just about.
Got your torque setting right? Click.
Click.
Cool. Done. Time for a clutch cover.
Cool.
Right, Holly. Around here we've got 2 places where the dowels go in. So I've given them a clean up. If you want to pop those in, and then we should be able to get the gasket to sit in position on those dowels.
I want to go in very far on that side.
Oh, they'll only go in a few mil. Because they're supposed to stick out because they go into the cover as well.
Yeah, but it just
Oh, is it just
doesn't
not playing ball, is that one?
That one went in.
Turn it around, might be a bit happier. There you go.
Okay.
That's that one. And if you use you can just give them a little tap with the end of the screwdriver just to make sure that they're seated all the way. Coolio. Right, new gasket time. That is the part number 11482-05211. Genuine, obviously, because that's all we ever use here when we can. Okay, now I don't have a spare. We can't mess it up. There you go, Holly. See which way around that goes. That's looking pretty promising, actually, isn't it? Yeah. Is that right? I think it is. So you've got a hole over that over that one, and then it should just sit on the dowels. You hold that. Yeah, I might just get a zip tie for that clutch cable. Oh, that's perfect, isn't it?
Yep.
All right, now remind me, we can't start the bike up. I don't know if we are or not, but we can't start the bike up with this zip tie, otherwise it's gonna catch fire, isn't it? But that'll just keep it out of the way for me while we're putting the cover on. Okay, one quick look around, double check. How's that looking? Yeah, dowel's in position. It's all looking pretty good. I think we're ready for the cover, Holly.
Awesome.
Right, go and grab the cover for me. And you can offer that up if you like. So that rod, that dowel that's sticking out, the thready rod, that's a really good thing to start off with, isn't it? It just helps you to line everything up.
Yeah.
So slide it on parallel if you can. That's it. Cool, yeah. So oh, I got hair. It's like a curtain coming down. Holy moly. Okay, so we just got to give it a wiggle. There we are. That's it. It was just on that seal, wasn't it, on the kickstart?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get you the magic hammer so you can give it a gentle tap. Just with the hide end, the Muko end, and that'll just help to seat it. Just try it in the middle. Just here, look. Just give it a little tap and it should just take it all the way on. There we are. That's the noise we wanted. Okay, now the next bit is we've got the fun, and it really is fun now because we've set ourselves up to not be very efficient. We don't know which bolt goes where around the cover because, well, we just chuck them all into a tray. What you can do if you're really keen is you can get a bit of cardboard and you can just poke them through the cardboard in the order that you take them out.
Yeah.
But that's way too professional for us, you know. Okay, well, obviously you can use some logic. Some are a lot deeper than others, but just make a start and make your way around and see where we end up.
Cool. I'm pretty sure it went around here.
Yeah, because you took them out. You've got far more idea than I have where they go. So you reckon that's that one? That's a lot of threads to wind in, though. Because you'd normally expect them to stand proud about maybe 10 or 15 mil before you start to screw them in. So you
top one.
Yeah, because that's a dowel one, isn't it? That's a dowel. There's a dowel behind there.
Yeah.
So we know that the threads are a lot further back. That feel better? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, try that one. Right. What else have we got? I'll grab a few of these. I'm going to get a wire brush because there's still quite a lot of silicone on these things, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I can be cleaning them as you're winding them in. And remember, you've got that screwdriver with an 8 on it, so you could use that to spin them in if you want. Oh, I bloody hate silicone. Orange Halimar and red Halimar. You could, whenever you bought a motorcycle in the UK, and there's Halimar all over the place, and it'd be oozing out where all the gasket surfaces. This big furry orange Halimar. Yeah, they hadn't even bothered to wipe it flush, you know. Did my head in. Two things at once going on camera. That's value for money, that, isn't it? That's us really respecting your time, and we know you're busy people, so trying to speed things up. All right, Holly, that's for you. Cool. I'm going to steal the whole tray actually because it's easier than reaching for the camera all the time. Jeez. Okay. So yeah, you should always have at least, I would say at least 5 mil, if not 10 mil of the bolt proud before it starts on the threads.
Yep.
There you go, there's your next one. God, I get all the best jobs. Mind you clean the covers, so that's all right. And you're just doing them up snug, you know, just finger tight. You don't want to be putting any pressure on them yet because we need to.
Yeah, I'm going to the bottom and then back half a turn.
Oh, you're a legend. Too good. I was going to keep quiet. There is no need for me to be here anymore. I can retire, have a nice holiday, so you know, just relax, hammer springs, just chill out, let you run the channel for me. You probably get a lot more subscribers than what I've got, to be fair. Right. Sorry, I was busy talking. I can't do two things at once. There you go. These are quite short ones, these, aren't they?
Yeah.
These ones. It's going to confuse the crap out of the film. Where to focus is this, isn't it? It's going to go, where do you want me to focus? On Holley or on the bolt? Well, clearly on Holley, obviously. Right, there you go. That's for you. Another worry is on a lot of these bolts, there's been the silicon sealant on the end of the bolt,
Yep.
which means it's gone down the hole. And what can happen is the bolt can hydraulic against the silicon sealant, so it feels tight, but it's not tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another reason why you shouldn't really use it, or if you do use it, make sure it's not, you don't over apply it. And that's what the guy did. He put way too much on there. There you go, that's for you. Now, I've got, hang on. I've got one with a washer on it. And I put a line on the cover with the one that takes the washer, so I reckon that's that one. So where's that one going to go? Down there. Okay, cool. Boy, you see, I'm not completely dumb, am I? Right. Must have done that for a reason yesterday. Right, there you go, that's for you. Fantastic. I don't know whether it should have a washer on it or not, but it came with a washer, didn't it? It seems very strange why it would have a washer. Actually, you know what? Take the washer off. I don't think there's any need to have that washer. I think it's catching on the casing as you're doing it up. Does it come off? No. Oh, okay.
Not really.
Oh, you best fit it with a washer on then. If it's been factory fitted, then unless he's lost the bolt and used a different bolt from somewhere else that does have a washer on it.
Possibly.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me in all honesty. Does it feel okay going in? There's probably a bit of silicone stuck in there as well.
Yeah, I think there is. It tightens up and then untightens.
Yeah, it'd be alright. You're just munching your way in. I don't think there's anything wrong with the threads. Okay, so now we need to torque all those down. So let me go and find the little torque wrench again.
Yep.
And you'll need an extension rod this time, won't you?
Yep.
Now these are an M6 bolt, and it said in the manual 10 Newton meters. So hang on, let's try and get that sorted out. 10 Newton meters, is that going to focus? Yes. Right, that's 9 when it's at 0, 9.5, 10. Lock it off. There you go, Holley, all yours. So you can just work your way around the casing. You don't have to do them in any you don't have to do opposites. Normally I would do one and I would do one opposite and then I'd just go around. That's my take on it. There you go. That works. It just gets it sat snug first, you know, before you. That's it. Now we're looking, all right?
Good.
Good stuff. Much tidier job than before, I'll tell you that.
Cool.
All done?
Yep.
Fantastic. Well done. Right, Holley, I think next we'll fit the 2 oil lines for the oil cooler.
Yep.
And in the tray is the 4 sealing washers that we need
Cool.
to use. And we checked yesterday, the 2 bolts are the same, so it doesn't matter which way around they go.
Yep.
They should be both the same length. So let's get that done first. If you do that, I'll look in the manual and try and find a tightening torque for those bolts.
Cool.
Okay. There you go. Right, torque setting. I'm not sure if they're going to have a torque setting or not, because you usually just tighten them up till they feel tight, kind of thing, till they feel like the ceiling. Here we go.
I think we should cut the cable tie off now because it's...
Oh, is it in the way?
Yeah.
Oh, good call. Side cutters. I don't know where they are. They could be anywhere. Oh, they're there. Yes. On the bench. Okay. Yeah, good job. We finished that anyway. Okay. Are you waiting for me now? No, you're not. You're still busy, aren't you?
Yep.
Cool. Oil cooler bolts. Fuel and lubrication. Okay, oil cooler. This one hasn't got an oil cooler on it. Oh, come on, Suzuki. I might have to just do it anti-torque then. That's just in the supplementary bit.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
Alright, so I think there were a 17 from memory. So if I give you... Can you get in with a socket and a ratchet? I think you can. There.
Should be able to, yep.
Alright, so there's a 17. If you just... To be fair, if you just tighten them up as tight as you can, then I'll just check them. Because I can't for the life of me find a torque setting for these things.
14.
Hey?
14s.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh. Okay. I believe you. There you go.
Thank you.
Try that one. Maybe I just think everything's bigger than what it really is. Oh, no.
I'm going for males.
Oh, it's not just me then. That's alright. No, I have no idea. No, I'll just tweak them up. Okay, happy with that? Let's just give them a little check. You may well have done tight enough. We'll soon know because it'll spray all over the workshop, won't it? Mm-hmm. That's fine, is that? Yep, that'll do me nicely. Okay, so we've done the clutch cover. We've torqued down the bolts to 10 Newton meters. Well, Holly did that for us. The oil cooler lines are installed. Couldn't find a torque setting for that, like I said. Holly, off camera, is just going to reinstall the brake lever and the kickstart. Pretty simple job. You saw how it came off. It's very easy to put them back on in the reverse order. So we'll crack on with that to try and save a bit of time. And we'll see you very shortly. Uno, dos. Done. Right, Holly, back to the bench. Now then, crew, we are done. All finished, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So the kickstart's back on, the side stand's back on with the foot peg, the fiddly little brake light switch trying to get the spring back on, and getting the split pin in the back of the brake pivot as well. Absolute ball ache, to be honest. Thanks. I mean, imagine it's all full of mud. You're just going to give up.
Yeah.
I don't need a rear brake. Just carry on, you know. Anyway, let's take a quick look around and then we'll sign off. Here we go. Right, so we even left all the filming stuff out. So there you go. It's all done. We haven't bothered to fit the new filter yet. That's in the next video, which covers the basic servicing of the engine. And then once that's done, we've just basically got the fuel tank to bolt up, side panels on, battery to go in, seat to go on, Oh, you've got a brake lever to change, haven't you? That's a pretty quick job.
And clutch lever, yeah.
Oh, that boot. Yeah, the lever's brand new actually on the perch, but so we've got that rubber boot to fit on the clutch. But now, hey, we're really, really getting close, to be honest. It might not look it, but we're on the final roll, you know. We're nearly there, Holly.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool. Right, back to the bench.
Cool.
Okay, crew, well, hopefully you found this video helpful, replacing a wet clutch on a motorcycle, and let's face it, nearly all of them are. And the design of the clutch on the DR200 it really replicates what's the majority of bikes that are out there, but bigger bike, bigger components, but the basic principle is exactly the same. But do be careful, manufacturers sometimes have their own specifics, and we found that with the positioning of that first friction plate in the basket. It had to be aligned specifically with it, you know, angular wise with the basket, and there were some marks to line up, and it wasn't done before, but it is done now. Yeah. Cool. So it's always a good idea to download the service manual and double check, or assume the person that did it before did it right and replicate what they've done. But hey, that does leave you open to error. It's always best to read the manual. What a long weekend it's already been. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed it. Why not subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and our friends at YouTube will send you a reminder whenever I upload any new videos. You can also find me on
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Game on, you can. Any of those portals, feel free to communicate. There's also my email address down the bottom, andymechanic@live.co.uk. Yes, UK, not New Zealand, UK. Flick me an email if you like, and I'll do my very best to reply back. If you get stuck in the spam folder, sorry, not my fault. I probably won't see it. But you know, there could be a little bit of a delay. I am a very busy chap, but I'll do my best, and it is me that answers those emails. Now, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that through
Patreon
and
PayPal.
Yes, well done, Holly. Excellent. PayPal and Patreon. Super job. Either of those two methods, you know, I mean, if you want to send me a briefcase full of $1,000 bills, then I'll accept it. There's no problem with that. But that's the normal way for you know, viewers to support the channel. Either become a patron or flick a few dollars through on PayPal. Many have over the years, and many still do. And everybody that has, and even if you're just watching the video, is supporting the channel, to be honest. You know, thank you to everybody for all your support. We hit 73,000 subscribers yesterday, which to me is a hell of a lot.
It is.
You know, it's monstrous. When I first started this channel and I got 100 subs, I was over the moon. I was like, wow, this is cool, you know? But it's grown into a bit more of a monster. A monster in a good way, you know? It's all right, I enjoy it. I really enjoy it, but it does involve a lot of time and effort. Okay, crew, we've got to sign off now.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to the viewers, Holly.
Goodbye, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video.
I know I have. And I do like your new outfit.
Me too.
It's very cool. You can't see all the oily marks of where my hands end up. See you guys. Over and out.
See ya.
Cheers. And we get the